J.W. Johnston was an Irish-American stage and film actor who started as a supporting actor and, briefly, leading man in the 1910s and early 1920s, continued as a character performer from the mid-1920s, and ended as an unbilled bit player during the 1930s and 40s. He was also an early member of Cecil B. DeMille's repertory company of actors, appearing in 5 of the director's features released between July and December 1914. Although J.W. Johnston was his most frequent billing, other appellations included J.W. Johnson, Jack W. Johnson, Jack Johnson, W. Johnston, John W. Johnston, Jack Johnston, Jack W. Johnston and Jack Johnston. Biography. Born in the County Kildare village of Kilkee, about 75 kilometres from Dublin, Johnston travelled to the United States as a young man, with Variety mentioning that his initial Broadway appearance was in Paul Potter's stage adaptation of Auder's popular historical romance, Under Two Flags, starring Blanche Bates, which opened at Garden Theatre on February 5, 1901 and closed in June. 24 years old during the show's run, Johnston persisted as a theatre actor for another 10 years and made his first film, a Pathé Frère short entitled The Reporter in 1911, continuing to perform in numerous other short films. The following year he joined filmmakers' exodus to the newly formed West Coast motion picture mecca of Hollywood. Seen in at least 8 films in 1912, he made 26 in 1913 and 16 in 1914, with 6 of the 1914 titles extended to feature length, including the 5 DeMille's, in first of which, The Man on the Box, a comedy drama released in July. He had a prominent supporting role as a character named Count Karloff, playing the title character's best friend, Steve, who was lynched as a cattle thief in The Virginian. The director's first major success was Next. In September, there were 2 titles in November, The Man from Home and Rose of the Rancho, and his 5th DeMille, The Ghost Breaker, opened in December. Johnston was also the male lead in one of the earliest movie serials, filmed in 1914 and released in mid-January 1915, Runaway June, which spotlighted, in the title role, Norma Phillips, whose short-lived nickname during her brief film career came from the appellation of her 1914 feature, Our Mutual Girl. 40 years old in 1916, Johnston enjoyed a brief period as a mature leading man, second billed to such stars as the sweetheart of American movies, Mabel Taliaferro, in God's Half Acre, and 22-year-old Norma Talmadge in 50-50, which cast him as her wealthy husband. By the end of the 1910s, however, his roles began to decrease in importance and he was back in 4th, 5th and 6th billed supporting parts. In his final silent feature, 1928's Driftwood, he is 4th, playing, at age 52, 3rd male support to leading lady Marceline Day. There were 2 more appearances for Cecil B. DeMille, in 1939's Union Pacific and 1942's Reap the Wild Wind, but, in contrast to his stature in 1914, Johnston, now in his 60s, is barely glimpsed in fleeting unbilled bits. The features containing the final 3 of those transient glimpses, 1946's Night and Day, Lady Luck, and The Locket, were all released posthumously following his death in July. J.W. Johnston died in Los Angeles 2 months before his 70th birthday, but the few obituaries which noted his passing gave his age as 70. In a 3-sentence notice, Variety, in its August 7, 1946 weekly issue, indicated that he died at 70 on August 1 and that he moved to Hollywood in 1912 and remained active until a few days before his death. Partial filmography: The Man on the Box, The Virginian, Where the Trail Divides, Rose of the Rancho, The Ghost Breaker, Out of the Drifts, Molly Make-Believe, The Moment Before, Destiny's Toy, 50-50, The Eternal Mother, The Land of Promise, The Spirit of 17, Uncle Tom's Cabin, On the Quiet, The Woman the Germans Shot, Out of the Shadow, The Test of Honor, The Kentuckians, The Ruling Passion, The Valley of Silent Men, Backbone, Desert Valley, The Black Diamond Express, The Sawdust Paradise, Take Me Home,